Hello, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, retired NYPD Sergeant Bill Cannon, a 27-year veteran of the NYPD. Guys, we've been doing so much coverage on, of course, the Madeline Soto case, with sort of the onus being on the players in this case, who we consider the big players to be, of course, Stephan Sterns. And more documentation, more and more recordings, more and more interviews have come out that have, instead of answering all kinds of questions, which they have done, uh, they've really raised more questions. More questions. What happened? Who knew about it? Who was involved in it? Many people have asked me and other content creators, should Jennifer be arrested? Was Jennifer involved in this case? And my answer to that is, even though the district attorney and the Kissimmee police have put out that they have no intention of arresting her, I don't think that's true. I think down the road, Jennifer Soto will absolutely 100% be arrested. It is a strategy that I feel that the prosecutor is using in order to keep her cooperating with them in this case. And cooperating, we all remember that photo, her comforting Stephan Sterns early on when her daughter was missing. And no one knew at that point whether she was alive or dead. And she's comforting this man we now know to be the monster in this case, a absolute monster. And that means a lot. It's just seeing that, Jennifer Soto's shocking admissions in Madeline's death. Absolutely. She made some very shocking admissions. Not to being complicit in the actual murder, but in their life, in the peripheral, in the complexity of this, and potentially being involved and knowing about all of the nefarious activity and doing absolutely nothing. We just see that pathetic looking face when she was interviewed on a local television station. And then we get inside the guilty mind of Stephan Sterns and his interviews, his several interviews, and how he wasn't a very good liar. And he's a fragile human that used as an excuse. I'm not a morning person. I'm not a morning person. Oh, I was so messed up on the drugs I take for anxiety. I forgot exactly what kind of drug it was. Oh, I don't know whether I'm coming. I haven't eaten in 2 days. I mean, every excuse. I'm not really good at that. I don't really know directions. I'm not really good at time. That wasn't my car. That was my parents' car. Oh, I did a factory reset on my phone. All of these things that we're finding out that he used as excuses for why he doesn't remember. He didn't do. He doesn't know until actual proof was shown to him. And what did he do immediately? He invoked counsel. He requested an attorney, right away. As soon as he knew the gig was up, as soon as they found those images on his phone, all of a sudden, I think I need an attorney. Oh, you think so? You're going to need more than that, But yeah, right away he lawyered up. And we all know once you lawyer up, that's the end of questioning. That's the total end of questioning. So going live about an hour ago was the Court TV, and they do a pretty good presentation. So I'm going to go to the Court TV little presentation here, and we'll critique it. We'll talk about some of the things we've already spoken about. There's so much interest in this case. So hold on to your hats. Hold on to your next door neighbor, your wig, your toupee, whatever you got to hold on to, your glass of wine, your coffee, your beer. You're about to enter true crime from a police perspective. You're about to enter the off-the-cuff zone, the police off-the-cuff zone. There has to be some common sense.
Yes, sir. They have the car stopped at 10th and Ranch, Michael Byler.
We still don't know who pulled the trigger.
So whether it was the interviews by police, the numerous interviews, or the fact that right away when this case occurred, most of us looked at Stephan Sterns as the most likely suspect in this case. The mother's boyfriend, living in a condo with 4 bedrooms. And he allegedly rented a room. His own dad said, I'm the one who pays for that room. And then the onion started to get peeled and we started seeing some really bad things, right? Peeling back the onion of deception. This man-child, this 37, now 38-year-old Stephan Sterns. The word loser in the dictionary, his picture is there. Absolute 100% loser. So Court TV today went live about an hour ago and it's in progress. So I'm going to go to that and we'll be commenting on their presentation as it moves along.
Details are coming out when we're looking at the death investigation of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. The teen disappeared February 26th after she didn't make it to school that day. Her body was found several days later on March 1st in a wooded area.
Her mother's boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, is charged with Madeline's murder. He was questioned by police when she was missing. And we're going to bring you some of that audio-only interview in just a minute. But first, here is Court TV anchor Judge Ashley Wilcott with a look at the case.
Stephan Sterns is accused of murdering 13-year-old Madeline Soto, his girlfriend's daughter. Madeline went missing on the morning of February 26th, and her mother, Jennifer, spoke to WFTV the next day.
I feel like I can't breathe. All I keep thinking about is, where is she? Is she safe?
Jennifer says she realized something was wrong when she went to pick Madeline up from school and she wasn't there.
I was the one.
The truth is that now we know that she lied about so many things. She lied about seeing her on the Sunday night of her birthday. She lied about seeing her the next morning. All those things were lies. Which lead us to ask the question, when exactly was Madeline murdered? What time during the night, during the early morning hours was she murdered? And the big question we have, was Jennifer Soto involved in the actual murder of the case? Was she involved? At first, I looked upon her as the grieving mother and felt very sorry for her. Now, I'm not that sure about whether she was involved or not.
I took her to school in the morning. That was my partner.
According to Sterns, he dropped Madeline off in a church parking lot next to her middle school. He also spoke to WFTV the day she went missing.
I dropped her off. Everything looked fine when I drove away. So last time we saw her, she was asleep for most of the way. Told her have a good day at school when she got out. I love her. Said thanks, love you too. That was it.
Amazing how Stephan Sterns puts on that whiny, pathetic voice when he's being questioned and he's trying to get over it on people. He's trying to lie. I dropped her off. I told her I loved her. I got her out of the car. I said, I'll see you later. He's such a weasel, but that is his lying deceptive voice. That's the voice he puts on when he's trying to get people to believe him, and he's not very believable.
Police began to suspect Sterns as they investigated and looked for Madeline. And when they examined his phone, investigators say they found video.
I'm going to skip that since YouTube really doesn't like anything time you say those words. So we'll move past that. Let me move on to
They
this.
pick up about like times and stuff like that, okay?
Woke up around 7:15, somewhere around there, which is an early start for us, but we had talked about getting McDonald's breakfast before.
This whole McDonald's story, it just kills me. You know, like the school's 20 minutes from your house. Now, how long does it take to stop at McDonald's? You can go through the drive-through. You can be in and out of there in 5 or 10 minutes. But this was like a project, like they were driving an 8-hour to 10-hour trip, because we were going to go to McDonald's before I dropped her off at school. You know, it's such a pathetic excuse.
And so we wanted to make good time. We did make good time. We got out the door maybe 7:30ish, 7:45ish, maybe. Got over to that area. She was asleep in the car most of the time, just snoozing until we got there. We got to McDonald's. We're close to McDonald's. I said, "You still want it?" She wasn't interested in the McDonald's anymore, so we continued on. And she wanted to be dropped off a little down the ways from the school. She's got this phase that she's been into lately where she's very particular about what car she's seen getting out.
Yeah. Other kids, they don't like Stephan's, old Lincoln. That's not even his car. It's his parents' car. She's embarrassed of that car. Is she embarrassed of the car, or is she embarrassed of the person driving it? But there's another good little story that Stephan Sterns just told.
Up in front of the school. She heard my cars are, I guess, kind of hoopties. I get it. It's an image thing. But that was sometime probably between 8:20 and 8:40ish, somewhere in there. It was along the stretch of the road that on the right side that has all the communities on it. Before you get to the overpass. You could see the overpass from where it was. So it was on that side, on that stretch of road, and that's where I dropped her off. She said she was going to go wait for her friends. She was going to go find them and hang out and wait for her friends. And I asked if that was going to be okay. She said, "Yeah, it's fine. Kids get dropped off early enough as it is. It's not totally unusual for that to happen."
When we all listen to this interview, and it sort of helps that his picture's on the screen, just to look at that despicable face as he's telling this story. Realize that almost every other sentence out of his mouth is a lie. And listen to his voice. Listen to his inflections. Listen how convincing or otherwise he is with telling this story. And these investigators, the female detective from the Orange County Sheriff's Office, she's fantastic. Mara Tadler, I think her name is. She just lets him keep talking, and every once in a while she interjects a home run shot at this guy. Let's keep listening.
It's just not usually that early that I drop her off. I do school runs every once in a while for her. I said, "Okay, let her out. Have a good day. Love you. Thanks. Love you too." And I turned around and was driving away and was watching her in my rearview mirror to make sure that she was going where she was supposed to go. And she was moving in that direction, but she was rummaging around in her backpack for something. What I assumed was probably headphones or something like that. But I found out later that she forgot her phone here, so she may have been rummaging for her.
See how he makes up all the stuff, the peripheral stuff? Because that's done by a professional liar. It's done so that the interviewer believes him more. And I can understand. Oh yeah, she went into a bag for her headphones. Oh yes. Oh yeah, that's believable. So he's painting this whole narrative around something that never happened. He never dropped her off. And then I said goodbye, and I saw her through the rearview mirror, made sure she got her, and then I just started to drive. This. It's just when we listen to it now, and we realize this is a liar. He is just lying about everything. And let's realize this was a missing 13-year-old girl. And as his story started to collapse like a cheap suit, as the investigators started pulling up license plate readers, video of him leaving the complex, as they started doing a canvas of the neighborhood, as they interviewed the roommates of this monster, they started getting a different picture. But guess what? As an investigator, you can't just go in and start pointing fingers. You have to do it methodically. Have the evidence before you start throwing rocks at the glass house. Have the truth, know the truth before you confront the liar. Do not confront the liar with another lie. Never lie to a defendant. Never. Because he or she knows the truth. And if you lie to them and they know it's a lie, they're one up on you. They got you because they know you don't have it. You don't have the evidence against them. That's why you're lying.
The phone. Because she was still kind of making her way towards that direction, so it looked okay. Looked like any other day. And I just continued on.
Okay. When you said you dropped her off, like in the area, kind of like where exactly did you drop her off?
So if you pull down the street going towards the school, you've got that whole strip of communities on the right side there. It was in that stretch of sidewalk there. We pulled in and maybe about halfway up the street or so, and she was like, right here's good.
Was it like in one of the apartment complexes, the church?
It was outside one of the apartment. It was just on the sidewalk on the side of the road there. Just like a tuck and roll, you know?
Okay, so like if I were to be on the road, where, like what do you remember seeing that you dropped her off at?
I remember the overpass was up ahead. The sidewalk was on the right, row of trees. There's, I think, a median in the middle. And then there was another community maybe across from that before you get to the church. So it was like before the church.
So Town Loop Boulevard's that street that connects to the school.
Yeah.
Is that the street that you...
Is this, which one?
So that's Town Loop Boulevard, right? That's the one that...
And where's the school located here?
School's right here.
School's right there. Okay, so the school would be on the left in this case. Here's the overpass
you guys came from this
about. Yeah, we came from Town Loop, I think, which is Town Center. Yeah, so we made a right here and then pulled somewhere about.
So you came from Town Center and turned onto Town Loop.
Yeah, where's the church? Is this the church here?
There is that's the church.
Okay, so we weren't up to the church yet. So we were.
See how he brings in peripheral things to make his story more believable? Like he's bringing in peripheral things to show that he's observant and he's really objective and he's really an important person in this little girl's life, and he's showing how competent he is. And he's doing this to try to pull the wool over the eyes of the investigators. Annabelle Roma, thank you for the $5 super sticker. Annabelle has a question. Sergeant Bill, did Jennifer Sterns say her story about seeing Maddie Sunday night was false? No talk of the birthday party, so when did JS last see Maddie? She admitted that she never saw Madeline on Sunday night, the birthday party night. She also admitted she never saw her the next morning. She just heard voices. So I believe that Madeline was staying at the grandmother's house, and the last time she may have seen Madeline, I don't have the exact proof of this, was either Friday or Saturday. But I don't have, there's no the police reports, documentation that I read that, but she admitted in one of the interviews that she never saw Maddie on Sunday nor on Monday morning. So those were two lies that were told by Jennifer. And we wonder, why was she telling lies?
Pulled on here, and then we pulled maybe about halfway up here, and I dropped her off somewhere in this area here.
And she walked from there to the school?
Yeah.
It's a pretty long way.
It's maybe a block or so, but it's not out of the ordinary for her. She likes to do that sometimes. She likes the cold weather. She was wearing her hoodie. She likes the cold walk.
So you dropped her off near Lilac? Does that sound right?
Yeah, it wasn't at a cross street. It was just a bit of the sidewalk there.
So
You think he was making up where he dropped her off so that he wasn't caught on any potential video that he may have known about? One of the things that we found out through following this case is that the area of Kissimmee has an unbelievable surveillance of license plate readers that read license plates, and then the plates go into a database. So they can very specifically track a car using their license plate reader and tell you everywhere that car was. Unbelievable. And that's married to surveillance. So when he started to lie and the detectives had these answers, you saw how he folded. He just folded like a cheap suit, as I like to say.
But did he merge into the sidewalk, or did he stop in the middle of the street? Or
I just pulled over to the sidewalk there. Let her hop out.
How often do you drop her off?
This might be the 5th or 6th time I've ever done it.
Okay. And when you drop her off, where do you normally drop her off at?
Normally.
You know, folks, also realize this. He wasn't living with them since December. So this was February 25th was the birthday party. February 26th was when he allegedly drove Madeline to school. February 26th was when we believe Stephan Sterns murdered Madeline. So all of a sudden, he comes in back into their lives. He's going to move back into the house. He allegedly attends a birthday party, which I don't think he ever showed up at. And then the next day, we're supposed to believe that Jennifer said, "Oh, you drive Madeline to school?" Something is extremely fugazi about that. "Oh, Madeline, Stephan's back." Oh, she'd probably be like, "Oh, no, he's back and he's going to drive you to school." Are you kidding me? He's been gone for 2 months. And who knows why he fled back to mommy and daddy's house, you know? And all of a sudden he's driving Madeline to school. Does that make any sense to any of you guys out in true crime land? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Down the street from the school, she requests that a lot.
Like the same area or somewhere else?
Especially if it's sometimes in the church parking lot, sometimes just wherever she tells us to let her out. As long as it's close, you know.
so it's halfway between Town Loop and Town Center and the church?
Yeah, it's just in this stretch right here. Like we got about maybe halfway up and was there.
All right, Stephan Sterns trying to spin a story to investigators early on while Madeline Soto was still missing. Cannon Kearney, for jurors, hearing someone tell a very detailed, nonchalant lie is infuriating, especially when you're talking about the death of a 13-year-old. And likely they're going to hear some or all of this when his...
Oh, you know, he's lying, but we're actually hearing now some new information that we didn't hear in the other interviews, which, you know, they edited them down. And this is good. This is new information that I didn't have. And we covered a lot of this, but this is some of this new stuff is quite enlightening.
I tried to sell her on McDonald's one more time because I was still kind of
Again,
hungry.
there's the
But
McDonald story. I am so tired of hearing about this McDonald story.
at that point, she was also just wanting to get to school.
Okay,
so
where
turned right back around.
where did you make that U-turn at?
Actually, the school parking, not the school parking lot, the church parking lot. I pulled into that, turned around, and pulled back out. did the UE there and went back to the McDonald's. She still wasn't having it. And that's when we came back. See, the McDonald's is on the same town loop or town center. It connects to the same road that the
That the school's on?
Yeah, so
town
it's like a straight shot.
So you guys came from, just so I can kind of get a good visualization, town center, and where did you come from, town center?
Town center, so where was the McDonald's? I'm so bad at reading these, I'm sorry. So we
This
came,
is all town center.
so we came across on Town Loop, I believe. Is that the school is that the road that the school is on?
No, this is town center. So
Okay.
you said you were on town center, and then you made a right on town loop, which is the one that takes you to the school,
Yes, correct.
right?
I think you pressed it.
But what I'm saying is before town loop, or
You see on the screen, found in Stern's car, latex gloves, cloth gloves, pocket knife, towels, and a rag. I mean, not unusual to have a rag, towels, a pocket knife, or cloth gloves, but latex gloves, I would question as to what they are doing in his car.
I'm sorry, for town center, what street did you take?
I'm so sorry. I'm bad with the streets around here.
How do you
I'm bad with the streets. I'm not a morning person. Yes.
usually
Okay.
get to the school?
I just take John Young and then wait till I see the McDonald's and make a left there and then follow that around, and that goes straight into the road that the school is on. I just use the landmarks, and I don't memorize the street names.
Is that JYP?
Yeah, so this is JYP.
I mean, at the McDonald's, you turn right?
And then you said you made a left at the McDonald's? So that's John Young Park, where you're going north on John Young.
McDonald's, and then go around, and then that shoots straight into the road that she's on.
Okay. Because that's...
I believe that's the correct road.
Yeah, well, that's the fastest way to get there. But you told me you came from town center and town loop.
I'm sorry, I don't know the street names.
Guys, remember I told you last night, and not just last night, but numerous times, that when a suspect, in this case, the number one suspect, over apologizes during the interview, that is 100% a sign of deception. And the detectives know this. They know this. And I find it interesting sometimes in the chat, people are like, why don't they just go after him? Why don't they, yes, you would love to grab him by the neck and shake him. However, they're doing their job and doing it well. And the way to get someone to give an admission or a confession is to plot along this way, meticulously, step by step, and hit him with little bobs here and there, but do not get in his face. This is not a 1940s, James Cagney detective movie. This is the real world, and things have changed. And the way, back in the old days, there was no such thing as Miranda. There was no such thing as invoking counsel in the 40s. Miranda was, much later. And of course, you guys are familiar with Miranda. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to not answer questions. You have the right to an attorney. All of those things are the Miranda warnings. But they can keep questioning him as long as he doesn't request an attorney. And at some point, even during this interview, if at some point he says, I want to leave, they can't stop him. The only way they can stop him is to tell him, oh, well, you're not free to leave. You're under arrest. They weren't ready to do that. They did not have enough evidence right there. So they are methodically plodding along, trying to get him, to give him enough rope to hang himself. So let's go back to the interview.
I'm sorry.
So
I'm doing my best.
that's okay. So now that we know that you came from Jungyoung Parkway, you made a left on Town Loop. So you passed the McDonald's.
Yeah, that was when she said no to McDonald's the first time.
Okay. So you guys keep on going on Town Loop.
Yeah. But at that point, we still had a lot of time to kill. Very early.
So what did you guys do?
Drove towards a school, made a U-turn, came back, tried to do the McDonald's thing again. She didn't want it.
So where did you, one more time, where did you do the U-turn at?
It probably.
You know, when someone turns down McDonald's once, do you think that if you drive by again and ask them again, would you like McDonald's? You think they're going to the second time say, oh, yes, I had a total change of heart. I want to hold the pickles, hold the lettuce, you know, and they now want to go to McDonald's, but because this McDonald's story is just getting overwhelming.
It was right by the church because it was still way too early for school. So it was on that stretch of road. I mean, they had the meeting there in a separation, so that left turn where the church is, to make the U-turn there.
All right, let's bring back in trial attorney Cannon Kearney, who's listening along with us. Cannon, it seems like he is being detailed. I mean,
we don't need him to give his opinion. Let's move on past this because that's what I'm here for.
They had talked to her for a minute. I made sure, is it all right that you're going early? Because it was still early. She said, yeah, it's fine. I'm going to hang out and wait for my friends to get there, which she does sometimes. So it didn't sound outrageous or anything. That was it. I told her to have a good day. I loved her. She told me she loved me too. I turned around to leave, and I was watching her in my rearview mirror, and she looked like she was walking in the right direction. She was rummaging in her bag a little bit, like I said, but still sort of just shambling in the right direction while she was doing it.
You know, I have two boys, right? And now one of them's 32, one's 29. But I used to drive them to school or pick them up. They both played sports. I would never think of dropping them off blocks away from the school. I want to see them get out of my car, and I want to see them walk into the school. I don't want to worry about what's going to happen to them blocks away from the school as they walk there. Who are they going to encounter? Who might encounter them? I want them in the safety of being inside the school. So when he drops her off blocks away, right away, I'm suspicious. That is a suspicious act to me. Folks, this is Police Off the Cuff, real crime stories. If you like real crime, true crime, from a police perspective, you're in the right place. And if you're not subscribed, go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell. Right now, actually, you can just hit the subscribe button right on the screen. I don't mean hit it, just use your mouse and click on it. Also, if you want to contribute to us, we have a Patreon with 4 different levels. We have a YouTube channel membership with 5 different levels. And you see a lot of our channel members in this. And I see a lot of new names here. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so. True crime from a police perspective and a little bit of humor here and there.
So it looked normal. It looked okay.
Okay, and then what did you do after you left the area?
I left to go to the local vape shop because I needed some more vape juice. They weren't quite open yet, so I ended up going back home. Hung out with Jen for a little while. Waited about an hour or so, and then went back and checked the vape shop again. It was open, so I got what I needed there, and came back home and hung out with Jen again for a while.
Do you remember what time you came home?
The first time was probably right around 10, close to it. And then I waited here and went back to the vape shop. Probably finished at the vape shop and came back home again a little after 11.
Okay. You said the first time that you hung out with Jen for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Was Jen here when you got here at 10? Okay.
I think so. She might have been at her blood appointment. Let me double check.
He thinks so. He thinks she was there. She may have been at her blood appointment. I think she was there. That's really solid of you to think, not to know. I think.
I know she had a blood appointment at some point during the day.
It's okay. We don't have to ask her right now.
Sorry, everything's a blur.
So she might have been here. She might have not have been here
I
at the first time.
believe she was here because she was sleeping in as much as she possibly could because she's been messed up with a new work schedule. So she had to be here because she didn't want to sleep in.
Okay.
I'll double check, but yeah, I believe she was here.
And then what time did you say you left again to the smoke shop?
Maybe after an hour or so, maybe 11 or so.
Okay. And then what time did you get to the smoke shop?
It's maybe 10 minutes away, so not long after that. Stopped in, got some juice, and
What's the name of the smoke shop?
East McDonald Lane.
Okay.
It's just over off of John Young. It's not far from the school.
A little noisy in the background right
after
now.
the smoke shop, what did you do? Okay, for how long?
At least until 12:30, 12:45-ish, something like that.
And then what'd you do after that?
I had a couple errands to run over on 192. She was talking about making a BJ shopping list. She just wanted to make sure I was back in time for us to both go pick. So I was visiting some card shops around the area on 192. I'm kind of a nerd, so we had a new trading card game release, and I was seeing what the situation was with it.
Do you remember what places you visited?
Yeah, Coliseum of Comics. Stopped by a couple Targets, and I was going to go to House Rules Games down by Oak and 192.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make it that far. I got a flat tire on the way.
Do you remember where you got your flat tire?
It was on 192. I pulled into one of those plazas somewhere. It's been about 10 years since I switched out a tire, though, so I made a lot of rookie mistakes and ended up pinning my thumb between the frame and the jack. Yeah, I'm lucky it's not a lot worse than it could have been.
Do you remember the name of the plaza by any chance? Do you remember what stores were?
It was like right before you got to Oak, though, so it was one of those little strips.
Okay. And then
but I did not make it back in time because of that. I thankfully had the spare. I put that on and tried to get back in time, but caught every red light on the way. She ended up leaving.
One of the things we know here is that, and I want to pull up a picture. This picture here, he used the flat tire story as the reason he has these little cuts on his hand. And that very well could be that Madeline, as she was being strangled, as we believe that's what her cause of death was trying to defend herself and dug her nails into his hand. And if that is in fact the case, DNA or skin cells from underneath Madeline's fingernails will be found during the autopsy. And that will be just devastating evidence against Stephan Sterns. So his changing the tire story, he may very well have changed the tire. He may very well have caught his finger in the tire. But we also know that he tried to strangle her. And if we find his DNA underneath her fingernails, that's a huge thing. Toy Thomas from the chat. I appreciate all that you do. Thank you for your hard work and sharing info with us all. It's not much, but I hope it helps some with the cause. Toy Thomas, thank you for the $9.99 super sticker. Always appreciated. Always helps. Thank you so much. So let's get back to Stephan's interview here.
I was about 10 minutes late on it. I called her and let her know what happened. Apologized profusely because I promised I'd be there with her to go pick her up. Just sat and waited. After that, she had already gone to get her, so I just sat and waited and hung out, straightened up the house a little bit. And that was it. Then we got the call.
What do you mean you got the call?
Got the call from her. had not come out. He started getting worried. Started making calls to her family. Be on the lookout. She might be walking to you. That's just when everything sort of started going downhill.
All right, Stephan Sterns, in his own words, telling an elaborate lie, according to prosecutors, about his whereabouts and his interactions with Madeline the day that she went missing.
Again, I don't need them to explain to me what's happening here. I think that we can break this down better than they can. So yeah, it's an amazing thing, and I always like to point out the skill of the interviewers doing this interview and interrogation. And they got to be very, very careful, because at what point do you think that Stephan Sterns realized that he was a suspect? He's of course trying to be deceptive. He's trying to cover up what he did. At what point did he realize that he was a suspect? Was it minute one? Because he was lying from minute one, wasn't he? He didn't tell the truth about anything. Inside the guilty mind. That's what that is, right? As Professor Mike Geary would say, consciousness of guilt. He knows he's guilty. So he did a lot of these premeditated things, these premeditated lies that he probably had some of the lies in his back pocket. And as he was being interviewed, he put on that persona of the victim. Oh, yeah, I'm not a morning person. I'm not good at directions. Time. I didn't have my watch with me. Oh, the car has a clock in it. Well, that's not my car. It's my parents' car. But the car has a clock, doesn't it? Yeah, I guess, but because it's not my car, I wouldn't have looked at, so every excuse this guy could come up with. Sterns lies about times and locations regarding Maddie's death. And now when we think back on this case, Maddie went missing on February 26th. They found her body on March 1st. So 5 days, right? 5 days. So she's out laying in the woods for 5 days as this guy is trying not to get caught. He knows what he did. There's even another secret that I'm not going to talk about here, and that's the 60 felonies he's going to be charged with based on the horror that was inside his phone. And what did he do? Another consciousness of guilt. I tried to do a factory reset on my phone, but, I'm not good at technology. The guy's probably a whiz at the computer, He's probably a whiz. That's all he does. He doesn't work. He's on the computer and the phone, FaceTiming. He's probably an absolute whiz. I'm not really good at technology. Oh, okay. Okay. You're not good at anything. You can't even drive, So absolutely, absolutely outrageous. And then when we listen to these interviews again, as the detectives methodically plod along, I just want to point out how amazing they're doing. And they're taking their time and they're waiting till they have the truth.
Dropped her off at school that morning. Now, during the investigation into her disappearance, police found
All right, I'm not going to go there because, again, YouTube will... we'll go right to here because YouTube doesn't like when you talk about SA, they demonetize you.
No, we didn't go anywhere else.
Is there a reason why you would be back on John Young Parkway?
Well, we tried to go back to McDonald's a second time. We would have made a left over there instead and then just looped around again.
What do you mean?
Just made a circle.
Made a circle house. Can you show me on the map? So this is the
going
McDonald's
back
right
down
here,
to
right?
McDonald's.
That's the McDonald's right there.
Correct. So going back down and then just straight shot back down.
You would come down this way?
I can't read the map. I'm so sorry.
Yep, I'll go.
Where's the McDonald's?
The McDonald's is right here. This is Town Loop. So this is Jungyang Parkway. You guys are coming up
This is
Jungyang.
McDonald's.
Yep.
And the school's on this part.
Correct. Somewhere over here.
Mhm.
So we come back out here, there, and then we can take a straight shot back down to the school again there. They connect. Town Loop and Town Center connect.
Right.
So it's
So where did you make the U-turn?
the U-turn was on the street when we were going to go back to McDonald's. So we drove down to McDonald's here.
All right, so
On the screen, 38 years old, defendant Stephan Sterns. I guess he recently had a birthday, date of birth 4/25/86. So he was 38 because initially he was 37. He could get the death penalty if convicted. In custody at the Osceola County Jail. Well, I think that the 60 felonies charge for what was on his phone, I believe that could get him life in prison without parole. But the capital murder case, with the underlying felonies being the horror that was on his phone, could get him the death penalty. So that's why I think this case is getting so complicated, because the prosecutor knows the responsibility he has to the people of the state of Florida. If anyone deserves the death penalty, it's this monster, right?
just so I don't get confused, you're going up Jungyang Parkway, right? You're going northbound.
Originally, yes.
Right. You make a left at the McDonald's.
Here, go towards the school.
Okay. How far did you get before you made the U-turn? So
we got. Is this the school road here?
Yep, that's town loop.
So we got up to here and then made a U-turn over here, past the median.
Okay. So.
And back to McDonald's.
On Lincoln Town Loop.
Still time to kill. She still didn't want the McDonald's, but I did give her a raspberry and cheese Danish.
So did you go through the drive-thru? Did you go inside?
Look, he even made that up. I did give her a raspberry and cheese Danish. So he makes that up to color his presentation, because we know that's a lie, because you can't feed a dead person, you know? And at this point, we know Madeline is dead. So he just made that up too. So keep that in your back pocket. Realize everything this guy says right now is an absolute lie.
No, go inside.
Where did you get the Danish from?
Oh, the Antonines that I brought from home. I gave her a couple of those from home.
Okay.
So she wasn't without food totally. So we just continued past it again and turned around and said, screw it, just drop you off early.
Okay, so you came back around to the McDonald's.
And then right onto the school road from there.
Is that back on Jungyang Parkway?
Yeah, back on the Jungyang Parkway. It comes down here.
Mm-hmm.
And then this Town Center again.
So then you took Town Center. Yes. The second time around?
Yes, and then made it right down to the school.
Do you remember what time you dropped her off?
I estimated it to be sometime between 8:20, 8:40.
Are you on your phone? Do you have Google Maps?
I do, but I wasn't mapsing it.
When you're giving her rides, does she sit in the front or the back?
She sits in the front.
Do you mind if I look at your maps real quick?
Yeah, it's fine.
And just to confirm, also, you said, so the second time around, you said you went up Jongyang Parkway, you went to Town Center this time, made a right on Town Loop, and then you said you dropped
it was right here in this stretch here.
Around this area. Okay. Which was before the underpass.
Correct. Before the underpass, just before the church. The church was ahead on the left. The underpass was just beyond that. The school was just on the other side of the underpass. So maybe
on the left-hand side.
Maybe a block away.
Okay. And you said that that's typical of her to walk that distance?
Yeah, she likes the morning walks when it's cool. She doesn't like being seen getting out of certain cars. Being in middle school, it's an image thing. And she will sometimes like to hang out and wait for her friends. She's known to do that.
Okay.
Do you mind if I just take a picture of your history?
Yeah, that's fine.
And that time would have been, you said around
8:20-ish, 8:30, sometime between 8:20 and 8:40.
What time does she go into class?
She has to be there no later than 9:15. Doors open at 8. Doors open at 9, I think. And school officially starts around 9:20 or 9:28, I think.
And when you dropped her off, is that earlier than typical, later than typical, around the same time?
Earlier than typical. We had made really good time that morning, and with the subtraction of McDonald's,
He made really good time to a school that is 20 minutes from the house. Made really good time. That's not what I would be thinking. I would just be thinking of getting my kid to school on time. Not making really good time and then making this McDonald story up that I'm getting so tired of hearing about. It's obviously a built-in lie that he's just using, and he's going back to it. That's another sign for you folks that follow these interviews and interrogations. It's another huge sign of deception. He's hanging on to this crutch of Mickey D's. That's what we call it in the hood, Mickey D's. But he doesn't say Mickey D's. He says McDonald's, right? So he keeps holding on to that and going back to it.
we had more time than usual. And she said it was okay. She was very confident, convincing that it would be fine.
And you saw what direction she walked to after you dropped her?
Yeah, it looked like she was moving towards the direction of the school like she was supposed to.
Was she still on the right side of the road, or did she cross over?
She was when I left her, yeah, she was still on the right side.
What kind of phone is this?
S23 Ultra.
I don't know how to work this thing.
I'm sorry, I barely know how to work it myself.
I'm an iPhone person.
No.
Is it okay if I go in your settings real quick? I just want to see if you're logged on to your Google.
I am not logged on to my Google with that, actually.
Is it okay if I check?
Yeah.
Does she have any other devices besides that phone? Any other electronics?
She had her school laptop with her.
You know, guys, just so you know, the detectives are doing basically what's called a tag team, and they're doing a very effective job. While one is talking and keeping him distracted, the other one is coming in with, you mind if I go through your phone? You mind if I go check your instant messages? You mind if I checked? And he's sort of distracted because most of us would say, no, give me my damn phone back. But he probably feels I'm guilty. So let me just cooperate so they think I'm innocent, you know? So as that one detective is asking him all these questions, his brain is like, his brain is overheating, you know? And the other detective slips in, oh, you mind if I go through your phone a little bit? You mind if I go check this? Mind if I check your GPS? You know, if I check your instant messages? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Most of us, I think, would say, if you're innocent, you say, give me my damn phone. No, you can't look through my phone. I think a phone is a very personal thing to most of us, right? And if someone asks you, can I look through it? My answer is no, you can't. You want to look through it? Go get a search warrant, you know, but he doesn't want that because he's guilty. So he doesn't want a search warrant. So and he thinks he factory reset his phone. So there's no bad stuff in there anymore. So he thinks.
Is that still supposed to be with her?
Still supposed to be with her, yes.
What kind of book bag was she carrying?
Black book bag with like grayish blue hibiscus flowers on it, like a print.
When she leaves in the mornings, where does she usually put her phone?
Either in her backpack or like her back pocket. Kind of wherever she just thinks to put it at the time.
Hold on, I don't know how to use this phone. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
This is absolutely some new footage that I didn't have from the last interview. So it is interesting to hear a new perspective on how they're going at him. Additional information. It's again, I can't praise these two detectives enough. They're doing a fantastic job.
She's never ran away or been away for longer than a certain period of time, amount of time, something like that.
I think she'd know what to do if she did run away.
Army Mom from the chat, do they have any audio of the day? They told him they found all of those. They found all of those photos and videos on his phone. I'd love to hear his reaction. I never heard audio from it, although there is in the supplemental reports, there is the detective telling him what they found on his phone. And right away, his next words out of his mouth is, "I think I need an attorney." And that's when he lawyered up. So there was no audio, but in the supplemental police reports, you can read the moment that they confronted him with it. And he said, "I think I need an attorney."
She's not the type. She's a good kid.
Besides the ADHD, is she diagnosed with anything else?
She was tested a while back and had some symptoms of autism, so she's potentially on the spectrum there.
Okay.
She was officially diagnosed with it when she was younger, and then she was retested and said, well, she shows symptoms of being on the spectrum, but maybe not full-on autistic.
Stephan Sterns seeming to have a lot of information about Madeline. He had broken up with her mother.
We know all of that information. Again, some of the things they found in the car. I'll put this back up on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, because you lived down south, right? Mm-hmm. When did you come back up north to help her?
I just got here this weekend.
Do you remember what day it was?
Sunday.
I went over that last night, and that is sort of intriguing in a way, because when she asked him a question, notice how he does that long that is meant to stall. That is a stalling tactic.
I don't think I've eaten anything since yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys were.
When did you come back to help Jen? Is that her name?
Here's the long he does.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like, because you lived down south, right? Mm-hmm. When did you come back up north to help her?
I just got here this weekend.
Do you remember what day it was?
Sunday was her birthday party, so yeah, it was the evening after her birthday party, Sunday.
Okay. Do you remember which?
So he just said the evening after her birthday party. Doesn't that imply he was not there? He said the evening after her birthday party.
Time you got here on Sunday?
8:30ish, maybe.
Okay.
Some time to make sure that she was doing all her nighttime routines.
You live in North Pole, right?
Yeah, I split my time between the two.
Is that on?
Split my time between the two.
Is that Broward County or?
Sarasota County, I believe,
okay.
or Charlotte County, either way. It's my parents' house. They're old. They need help these days. They got a house full of poodles. And it's chaos. So I needed to come back up here and just get away from that. Between two deaf old people yelling at each other and poodles yapping all the time.
Two deaf old people is how he describes his mom and dad in this picture. Two deaf old people that have been supporting your little sorrowful ass since you were born, and still at the age of 38 was supporting you, Two deaf old people with a house full of poodles because they raise poodles. That's part of their business. They raise poodles. And he also said at one point they're preparing for the end of their life. They do not like two people, to me, that are preparing for the end of their life. I don't know. Does anyone see that in this picture? Two people, Deborah and Chris Sterns, that are preparing for the end of their lives. I don't see that in that picture. I don't know.
Time. It's enough to drive anyone up a wall. Just very happy to be back here.
Did you, when you guys were looking for you guys look?
Me and her stayed local. It was all the rest of the family that mobilized and was beating the bushes. And
Did you guys drive together or separate?
I don't think we drove anywhere when we were looking.
You didn't drive anywhere?
Not that I recall.
So he just admits right there that when everyone went out searching for Madeline, him and Jennifer didn't. They didn't go search for her. How's that for a good mom? I'll just stay back here and take my anxiety meds. I don't need to search for my daughter. Which leads me to believe that she knew. Did she know right then that her daughter was dead? That's somewhat what it says to me. Neither one of them went looking for Madeline. To me, that says that she may have known that Madeline was dead.
Did you guys go anywhere last night? Was that media?
Maybe. I think Fox 35 or something.
If it is, let me tell them to move the paper down.
Okay.
I don't recall. You have to ask her if we went anywhere. I don't recall. I was so zonked out on Ativan at that point.
There he goes with another excuse.
That was a wreck.
I guess that usually works. I don't recall. I was so zonked out on Ativan at that point. Yeah, that works most of the time. It worked for your parents because they were your enablers. I was so zonked out on. I was crying. I'm crying. This 37, 38-year-old man, he's crying all the time.
And this would have been when?
Yes, thank you.
I don't recall us going anywhere last night, but honestly, at that point, my brain was mush, and I was on so many tranquilizers to keep me stable. It's just...
You said Ativan?
Yeah.
Do you usually take that, or?
Yeah, I have a prescription. I haven't needed it in a long time, though. But
what's that for?
Anxiety.
Okay.
I was having these rolling panic
Yeah, someone
attacks
he takes Ativan in order to drive a car. Yeah, I wonder if you can determine he's driving while impaired on Ativan. He's so zonked out on Ativan, in his words.
I'm crying, and I just...
Okay, you got this.
Thank you. It's the only way I could get to sleep last night. And then again this afternoon. That's why I missed your calls. I'm sorry. I just took an Ativan and conked out for a few hours.
He's already apologizing again.
It's the only time when I'm not crying.
Let's get some reaction to the.
If he's not taking an Ativan, he's crying. He's crying. I was so zonked out. I missed you. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed your call. I was knocked out on Ativan. Okay. That's how you go through your life, being knocked out on Ativan.
Into Orange County. making a left at the McDonald's, which is the town loop. You said when you did drop her off at that medium, you said it was around 8:20 to 8:30-ish, somewhere around that time.
Somewhere in there, yeah. It was early, but not like outrageously early, you know?
So what would you estimate when you made a left at that McDonald's to be?
After I dropped her off?
No, I'm saying when you dropped her off.
Oh, first left by that McDonald's.
Yeah, when you first go, that first left.
Fisher Blue from the chat, 2 people with mental illness, medicated, and are supposed to raise a child. A psychologist on YouTube gives her a pass and him too. Who cares what a psychologist says? I mean, most psychologists look at their own kids. They're all a mess, you know? So I'm not going to listen to them. They're outside of their lane when they're talking about a criminal, you know? He can coddle these people, but this is a criminal. This guy is an absolute dirtbag criminal, you know? So I don't care what some Dr. Phil like psychologist says. What you need to do is just try to do, you know, we don't need that. We know who this guy is. He's an absolute criminal, and he doesn't need to be coddled. He needs to be punished.
Left that you make at the McDonald's.
It had to have been around maybe 8, maybe 8:15, sometime in there.
Okay.
Sometime between 8 and 8:15, I think.
All right, so just so it's, you can kind of picture it here on the map. So you're going northbound, you make a left here, around like 8:10, 8:15. Let's say 8:15, around there. When you get over here, you make a U-turn, you go back to the McDonald's. But you said that she still doesn't want the McDonald's.
Still doesn't want it. She was just going to eat the Danishes that I had given her.
So you're going up here now, still northbound on Jungyoung Parkway.
Mm-hmm.
You make a left at Town Center this time.
Town Center, then make a right onto,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
And then you drop her off around like
dropped her off around halfway up the road there.
So keep in mind, all of this is still northbound,
Okay.
right? You're still northbound on Jungyoung Parkway.
Northbound.
So why is your car seen going southbound at 8:10?
This question is like a knockout blow. This is like a knockout punch delivered by the detective. And let me go back a little bit and we'll replay that question.
Let's say 8:15, around there. When you get over here, you make a U-turn, you go back to the McDonald's. But you said that she still doesn't want the McDonald's.
Still doesn't want it. She was just going to eat the Danishes that I had given her.
So you're going up here now, still northbound on Jungyoung Parkway.
Mm-hmm.
You make a left at Town Center this time.
Town Center, then make a right onto,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
And then you drop her off around like
dropped her off around halfway up the road there.
So keep in mind, all of this is still northbound,
Okay.
right? You're still northbound on Jungyoung Parkway.
Northbound.
So why is your car seen going southbound at 8:10? I'll show you what location it is. McDonald's is over here.
Mm-hmm.
At 8:10, your car is seen going southbound at this intersection. So meaning going toward Kissimmee.
Mm-hmm. I had forgotten something. I had forgotten my gate clicker. I'm sorry. I forgot. I had gone back to the house real quick after we left.
I forgot my gate clicker.
I actually had to go through the front gate and use my parking pass to grab my clicker. So it was the wrong time. I'm sorry. Like I said, I was guesstimating these times. I'm not a morning person.
Not a morning person.
Okay.
So yes.
Estimating morning person
gone out.
McDonald's.
How far did you get
I want my gate clicker.
before you came back down?
I want my MTV.
When you realized you forgot your clicker?
Nearly all the way to the school. And then we turned around. We had plenty of time to kill, so it was time to go back. I rushed back, got the clicker, and that's when I came back here this way.
So you guys came back here to get your clicker?
Correct.
So when we look at the cameras in the front, it's going to show you coming back in
Correct.
here with her in the car?
Yes, with her in the passenger seat,
Okay.
yes.
I know it sounds like we're asking you stupid questions, okay? We just
No,
want to
it's
verify
okay.
the
I'm
times.
sorry I'm not being more help. I'm not a morning person. I was half asleep as it was. I'm trying
The clickers to get where?
into our neighborhood.
Okay, and you forgot the clicker where?
I had forgotten the clicker here.
So how did you get in?
I was able to use my parking sticker for them to scan to let me through.
Okay, so could you not have done that after you dropped her off?
I could have, but I also like to come back in from the back gate a lot of the times, and I didn't know if I would be back right away. And sometimes they're busy up front, so it's better not to wait in a line.
What time is security usually there at the front gate?
They were there when I came through. He scanned my ticket.
So would it have not just made more sense to drop her off and come back since security's already there?
I don't know if it made more sense. It's just what I did.
Anything that you remember maybe she might have told you?
She didn't mention anything in particular.
Elaine McKenzie from the chat, thank you for the £5 super sticker. Most normal functioning adults don't need a PhD in psychology to understand Jen does not get a pass. F her. I think that means the same across the pond as it means here. But thank you so much for that. Get back to Stephan's interview here.
I made a joke about her Crocs. She wears Crocs and socks. So we were joking about that.
That's such a funny joke.
Would she say she's
With
usually like a
Crocs and
happy,
socks.
Very,
go lucky girl?
very
Or?
happy. She brings a lot of joy. She's a very good girl. It definitely doesn't feel the same around here if she's not here. She was so happy too. She was looking forward to my visit here. She was looking forward to us all being together. She was just happy. She was just very happy.
I'd say you guys have a pretty good relationship.
Yeah, definitely a very strong bond.
A very strong bond they have.
And she goes to when it's in a fight with her and she needs someone to comfort her. And like, I'm that person for her, you know. Good most of the time. You know. Not long ago, so she's getting the PMS mood swings, and you know, they butt heads, and so as well as you can expect, but otherwise very loving, very loving. This girl knows nothing but love here in this house. She hardly ever hears the word no. Double-edged sword that is.
How is she in school?
Hey, did you hear that little thing? She receives nothing but love in this house. She almost never hears the word no. Can you believe that? This guy saying that? There's nothing but love in this house. And she almost never hears the word no. Guess what? Real parents know that their kid's going to hear the word no a hell of a lot, because that's what parenting is. To say no. Tough love, it's called. It's called raising a child. Oh, in fact, she almost never hears the word no, which we know is absolutely false.
So-so. She's so-so in school.
Like grade-wise?
She's
Or
doing a lot better, though. Apparently, she just made Student of the Week.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so we're very proud of her. She's doing singing, choir, and she's sounding just amazing. She sang for me last night. I immediately wanted to show her the movie Sister Act because of the choir singing. It was so pretty. It reminded me. So I was very proud of her.
DM, very great question. Can they arrest someone even if they're in a psych hospital? No, they need to have the person cleared medically and psychologically and released from the psych hospital. It's almost like a sanctuary location, a psych hospital, but they can use the court and the power of the criminal justice system to expedite that person's release from a psych hospital, because once someone goes through the criminal justice system, if they in fact do need psychiatric help, they will receive it within the system. But DM, great question.
Does she have does she like video games, anything like that?
She does like video games, yeah. She plays Roblox, Minecraft. I think those are the two big ones that I know of.
You don't know if her to like ever have any friends on there that she talks to, anything
She
like that?
does. She does group chats. She does like voice chatting too on it. Usually with like her cousins or her friends, and they'll all be playing Roblox or something, yelling at each other on the phone.
When was the last time you all lived together?
December.
December. You said the reason was for your parents down there?
Yeah, going down to help them because they're getting on in age and they're making their end of life plans.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I so would love to see the faces on his parents when they hear their son say, "Oh, I need to go down to help them because they're making their end of life plans." Really? They don't look like they're making end of life plans to me. And aren't you the same guy that's calling them up all the time for money, you sponge? Oh, they're making their end of life plans. They need to come at me to go and help them. Ridiculous.
Someone to help out.
Can you unlock this one more time?
Sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, are you guys done?
No, we're good.
The other detective mentioned that you did not have your phone yesterday.
Correct.
Tell me about that.
I left my phone at home in the morning too. I was so busy riding her to the door on time that I left my phone.
This guy cannot multitask. Oh, I left my phone too. I was so busy thinking about so many things. I was thinking about McDonald's. I was thinking about Ativan. I was thinking about, this guy cannot do more than one thing at a time. It's just absolutely unbelievable.
She left her phone. We both left our phones.
Did you have your phone when you went to the smoke shop?
Not the first time after I dropped her off. I was still without it. I got it. I got my phone and went back to the smoke shop.
Okay.
Later when I got home.
And then I also noticed, I was checking your call history. I noticed that you don't have anything before this morning. Is that unusual on your phone?
No, it's a new phone. Stupid. I went to do an update yesterday morning, and I don't know what the pardon me. I don't know what the heck I did, but somehow during the massive OS update, I managed to factory reset my phone and lose all of my contacts, all my information.
What time was that? Do you remember?
Sometime while I was hanging out with Jen. Jen might know. I looked at her and said, what did I just do?
Okay.
She might know better. I don't know what time it was. It was when I was here with Jen.
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions. Do you, Louis?
I don't know where my head was yesterday. It was so far up my backside.
That's okay. We understand. In the meantime, while we're waiting for all this to get
I love
sorted out,
I love that detective.
your...
It's okay. We understand. That was so great. It was such a way of dismissing this moron. Oh, it's okay. We understand. And meanwhile, no, she does not understand. She's seething underneath her breath at you. She knows who you are right then. She knows you are a killer right then. It's okay. We understand. Yeah, she understands as she turns the screws and gets more information to put you in prison or get you the death penalty.
Phone, okay? I'll give it back to you when we're done. Okay.
Angelica, I'm going to read someone from the chat. Police off the cuff, do you think Jennifer Soto will be arrested? Yes, I do. I think it's strategic that they're not arresting her right now. I think she belongs arrested. She will get arrested, I firmly believe, but they can take their time. Look, if they drop a indictment on her for an accomplice to murder, they have to try her you got 90 days, I believe, to file the indictment, and you have to go to trial within 90 days. So they can just hold off on that. There's no statute of limitations. And don't forget, they got to try Stephan for the 60 felonies case before the murder. So if they dropped an arrest on her, it would sort of ruin their plans in bringing these cases forth and the timing of it. So if they don't arrest her right now, they have all the time in the world to arrest her in the future. And they may also want to use her to testify. So if they arrest her, there's no way she's going to testify. So I think it's very much strategic. I hope I answered your question. Holly, I think a big bust will come out of this. He probably was selling online. Holly, I think you're right. I think there's a lot more cases they're building as a result of this case.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us?
How long are you going to need my phone?
I'm not sure. I'm waiting for my supervisor to call me.
My dad. It's just my dad's using that to get a hold of me and get updates.
They can call Jen's phone.
Okay.
Did the other detective give you his business card?
I believe so.
Okay, well, here's mine in case you want it for any reason.
Okay.
Okay? Do you swear that everything you told us is true?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it. I know it's a little hectic right now. And then I know you were about to head somewhere. If you can just hang tight and refrain from going back in your car, please.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I was actually going to move it over a spot.
No, just leave it here. It's fine. Thank you.
Just leave it where it is. It's fine. Because we're going to get a search warrant. We're going to process it like a crime scene. So stay the hell out of that damn car. It's fine. I love that. I love this detective. She's so great. So guys, I think that we, as much as we've covered this case, this is some new footage. We learned some new things today. And the more you listen to this, and I know everyone is infuriated, absolutely infuriated, that Jennifer Soto has not been charged yet. And I believe down the road, I can't tell you when, I believe down the road she will be charged. But I believe that will be after Stephan Sterns' 2 trials, the first one for the 60 felonies, the second one for the capital murder. I think they will wait until both of those trials are over and then slap a indictment on her. And because everyone that watches, everyone in the true crime community is absolutely infuriated that she hasn't been charged yet. And I believe it's coming. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in for this unplanned episode of Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button on the screen, and we'll see you very, very soon. Have a great day, and God bless everyone.
One episode just ain't enough.